You guys probably know that this is called a knight. In chess, knights are present at the B and G file. Now, do you know how to drive a knight? I mean, driving a knight not like this, but like this, 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 this. So hello guys, this is me Shubham Kumar, your host, and today I'm going to show you how to use your knight more efficiently in 6 different ways. So guys, let's start the video and we are going to understand the first trap. So we have e4, the standard king's pawn opening. So this white is proclaiming the control by center. It's actually very aggressive opening because from the e4 only you can unleash multiple gambits. Now black plays e5, the standard response. We are going with bishop c4, the bishop's opening. Now your opponent may try to go with knight f6 to hit this pawn at e4. We don't have to defend it, but we are going to use our knight f3 to hit the pawn at e5. Now if your opponent becomes greedy, he will just take this pawn and then we will offer another knight. So knight takes knight, we have pawn takes knight. And now guys, this has become a reverse Stafford gambit. So yes, we are going to attack our opponent's queen. Now since e5 is hanging, so most of the players usually prefer d6 to defend this pawn. As per database, they are 22% playing this pawn, this move d6. So we have d6 defending this pawn and they hope that now knight is not able to take this pawn at e5. But guess what guys? Here knight take this pawn and actually it's a brilliant move because the moment we have pawn take this knight, guess what? We have bishop sacrifice, a tactical sacrifice. If king take bishop, we have queen takes queen, and yes, you are simply going to win this game in no time. Therefore, king simply moves away and then you launch another attack, a bishop g5, a very crushing blow. And now guys, king moves away, you simply just grab this queen and guess what? You're simply going to win this game. There is no bishop to b4 check on this king because that's simply a blunder. You simply grab this rook. In some of the cases, there are instances where bishop to this b4 and then check on the king and then so you simply just lose your queen. But guys, at this point of time, we have pawn to c3, a defender. So we are fine here and it was the first trap. Now it's time for second trap. We have e4, e5, the standard king's pawn opening. This time we are going with knight f3 again, that's fine. Then we are knight f6, defending this pawn because we are attacking it. Then we go with pawn to d4, the Scotch game. We have pawn takes pawn, one of the most common response, and instead of taking the pawn to d4, we just shift our knight's gear to g5 square. Since it is defended by our dark square bishop, so queen is not able to take it. That's fine. As for database, there are 28% people playing h6 maneuver to hit this knight. And guess what? To sacrifice a knight at the f7 square, and this is again a tactical sacrifice. Then we have king take this knight, bishop c4, check on this king. Most of the players are going to play king e8 because as per database is the top numbered most played move. Then we have queen h5, check on this thing, king moves away, we have queen this f7 check again, king moves away, we have bishop check, king moves away, we have, let me just move this, queen check, king moves away, and final blow, that just checkmate. So guys, this was the second trap actually. It's actually very amazing. Now it's time for the third trap. We have e4, e5, then we have knight f3, knight c6, a development. Now it's standard king's knight opening. This time we are going with c3, the Ponzi opening. Now your opponent go with knight f6, hitting on this pawn at e4. We don't care. We have d4 hitting on this pawn. Knight take this pawn. We have pawn to d5, and so as soon as you go with d5, your opponent is going to realize it that this knight doesn't have really good squares because all the squares are actually very passive. This is of course a blunder, but this is actually very passive. And then we have pawn to b4, just trapping this knight. That's not a good option, right? So yes, knight will go with the e7, knight take this pawn at e5, that's fine. We are controlling these crucial squares. Then we have pawn to d6 to hit this knight. Guess what? Bishop b5, check on this king. Then we have bishop defense and you just simply just take this bishop. Queen takes because there is no other way. Just grab this queen and that's fine. You are actually going to win this game in no time. Let's say instead of bishop, they use their pawn. We simply grab this pawn. That's fine again. Pawn takes pawn. We have bishop takes this pawn. No, guys, no, that's not a good option. We have knight takes this pawn, knight takes knight. Then we have bishop takes this knight, going for a double attack. That's fine. In this scenario, you are also going to have a great winning advantage. You can win this game. At this point of time, let's say if pawn takes pawn, okay, that's we have discussed. Let's say knight take this pawn. We have knight takes knight, pawn takes. They have a bishop take this pawn. Just again the same scenario, just winning this rook and also attacking this knight. That's fine. At this point of time, your opponent may try something very fishy, and that's queen b6. At first glance, it looks like queen is sitting on the bishop, which is present at a b5 square, but it is not the only thing queen is doing at b6. Queen b6 has actually a different purpose that I will tell you in a moment. Let's say we have pawn takes pawn. That's a discover check. So queen is not going to take this bishop, guys. Believe me. If a player knows what he is doing, black is not going to take this bishop. Instead, black will move his king. Then on takes rook with a queen, and now you have two queens. But guess what, guys? Queen take this point f2, and that's just a severe and great checkmate. So it doesn't matter how many queens you have, you are just get checkmated on the next. So that's why, guys, you have to be very careful in this situation. Now, before you take this rook, first of all, you have to go knight f7, a check on this king, and we can call it a fork, of course. But the main motive behind knight f7 is to push king on the c7. Then you are free to take this rook. And now guess what, guys? You don't have to make a queen, but a knight, which is actually a knight mirror attack. And now king moves away. Just grab this queen. King takes. You can simply just take this rook. Let's say king take the bishop. You have queen, check. No one is going to block it. Let's say king moves away. Just grab this knight. Guess what? Yes, you are going to win this game. It's time for the fourth strategy. So we have e4, e5. Then we go with knight c3. Our opponent also with knight f6, hitting on this pawn at e4. It's defended, but that's the main move in this situation. Then we have pawn to f4, the Vienna gambit. If your opponent accept the pawn, then we have pawn to e5, hitting on this knight. Now, the moment you go with d5, your opponent will soon realize that this knight doesn't really have good squares to go, because all the squares are controlled by queen. These squares are controlled by our knight, so that's a problematic, right? The only square where knight can move is knight g8, which is actually way more passive. Therefore, most of the opponent simply go with queen e7, pinning this pawn to the king and preventing this pawn take this knight. Now, what you have to do, simply go with queen e2, just unpinning it. We are going to play simple chess. Knight moves away, that's the only choice they have. Then you simply develop your knight at f3, because you don't want your opponent's queen to come at h4 and then you simply suffer, because this is actually very critical square, right? Because your f2 is actually very big. The moment you went with pawn f4, you just made your king side such a bit weak, but that's a drawback of Vienna gambit, so we can't do anything about it. Now, guys, your opponent want his knight at f6, but it's not possible because of the e5. Therefore, he will go with d6 to hit this pawn so that he can develop his knight. At this point only, you have to go with knight d5, hitting on this queen and also threatening a fork at a c7. That's problematic, right? So queen moves away. You still take this pawn, and that's a brilliant move. The moment queen takes, which actually most of the players are going to do, and then we have our great move, it's pawn takes pawn at d6. That's a discover check, and that's an attack on the queen. Queen defends it. There is no other way. Just grab it. This queen. Bishop takes. You have pawn to d4, and then this pawn is actually hanging. That's fine. You have won the game. Congratulations. Okay, guys, it's time for the fifth strategy, which we are going to see from the black pieces. So we have e4, then we go with the e5, we have knight, okay, not bishop, we have knight to this f3, we go with knight c6, our opponent will go with bishop b5, the Ruy Lopez. Then we have knight f6, normal development, he went with castle. Then, guys, we are simply going to shift our knight's gear to knight g4, controlling these crucial squares. Your opponent, if become hasty, he will go with pawn to s3, hitting on this knight. And then only you have to go with pawn h5, defending this knight. It's not like you have to move a knight away. You have to defend your knight, because the moment pawn takes knight, we have pawn takes pawn, and we have open rook file. This is called the fishing pole variation. It's the true fishing pole variation that actually you can use actually this thing in multiple games. Like I have shown you how to use fishing pole variation in King's Gambit, my previous video. So if you haven't checked that video, do check. It's actually very amazing. So pawn take this knight. We have pawn takes pawn, hitting on this knight. Now we have open rook file. That's actually good for us. Let's say knight moves away. And then, guys, we have code with h4, hitting on this knight, and that will simply just lead to a checkmate. If pawn comes at the g3, blunder, that's just checkmate. So we have pawn to this f3 so that king can escape. So you simply just block the escape route by pawn to this g3, and now this knight is just hanging. Let's say knight moves away. You have queen to this h2, h1, sorry, this is h1, and that is checkmate. And now, guys, we are on the last leg of this video. We have a sixth trap to discuss. Let's go with this. We have what? e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6. And guys, at this point of time, nearly 42% player go with bishop c4, the Italian system, and only 3%, okay, not 3%, only 2% player are capable of playing pawn to f5, the Russo gambit. One of the very great, very aggressive, and one of the very rare opening techniques I ever see in chess. It's my personally most favorite, and it's really just tremendously well. It works literally amazingly well against a system that you will going to love it. Literally, I am planning a video on solely Russo Gambit. Just wait for a while. You literally going to love this opening. The moment pawn takes pawn, that's exception. Then we have pawn to accepted. I mean this accepted variation. Then we have pawn to e4 heading on this knight. Again, guys, I'm going to show you the same variation that we have seen in the Vienna Gambit. It's queen pinning this knight to the king. Then we simply go with queen e7, unpinning this pawn. Knight moves away. We have knight f6 so that we can protect our h5 square. Now, guys, again, in the database 42% player, I going to play d3 maneuver. You still have to go with knight d4, hitting on this queen, threatening a fork at c2 square. Queen moves away, just grab it. Queen takes, we have pawn takes. That's the same case that we discussed earlier in the Vienna Gambit. Queen blocks, just grab it. Let's say knight takes, that's fine. Then we have queen b4 check on this thing. Let's say we don't even care about it, who is going to defend it. Just grab this bishop and you're actually very great here. So guys, these were the 6 strategies to make your knight become a true nightmare for your opponent.